Welcome. After 20 days, you're finally flying again, hopefully. Today from Stennis International to something that is very long to pronounce, Port of South Louisiana Executive Rgnl. So we can just maybe call it like Port of South Louisiana or something like that. Weather-wise, that was a forecast from the morning, and as you can see, there were like expected some high clouds from 16,000 feet and more. So perfectly flyable for us, small VFR planes. The winds were predicted about 15 to 20 knots headwind, so headwinds are back. The weather presently looks, at least I think that the forecast might be kind of broken. The wind seems to have picked up a little bit. There is a convective warning here, valid from 18 to 20 Zulu. So we are like in the first 30 minutes of it. But when I change to clouds, to the forecast of clouds, it says cirrus. Cirrus there at 19 Zulu. Cirrus there at 20 Zulu. Cirrus there at 21. So I don't know what to make of it. When I look at the simulator, you can see that we have some clouds, and also METAR and TAFs would expect some clouds. So we'll see how that goes. It should be fine. When I look at the METARs, the METAR that was valid almost an hour ago at Stennis called for a scattered layer of at 3,600 and a broken layer at 4,300. That's still fine. We need to fly 500 feet below the ceiling, and I'm planning 3,000 feet, so that should be quite all right. We have slightly lower pressure than, higher pressure than normal. At our destination, the METAR says it's basically nice VFR weather, although we have some thunderstorm and rain. So we'll see how that goes. And what's very interesting is this is like the longest METAR I have ever seen. For this is for New Orleans. So Louis Armstrong, New Orleans International. And what it basically says is winds, visibility, so very low visibility. We have some light rain and thunderstorms, some scattered layer, then another scattered layer with, is it cumulonimbus maybe? Then broken layer, overcast layer, and then the standard stuff and remarks. And remarks, it's very detailed. It says that the peak wind was this one, 300 at 41 at 1736 Zulu. So the wind can be quite heavy. Lightning distant in the south and west. Rain began at 34 past the hour. This one is nice. It says that the thunderstorm ended 20 minutes after the hour and began again 21 minutes after the hour. So not really sure why it's there. This says that pressure is falling rapidly. Sea level pressure is 1016.4 hectopascals. Then occasionally lightning in cloud and cloud to ground, in east, south, southwest thunderstorms. Again, east, south, southwest. And next, I don't know what that is. So this is a very nice METAR, very detailed. And seeing that as like in real life, I would scrap the flight. Because you don't want to fly in the thunderstorms in light aircraft. We can give ourselves some challenge, and we'll see how that goes. But yes, repeating, do not fly that in real life. All right, let's introduce our departure and arrival. Departure is the Stennis International airport. It's class Delta airport. Where is it? I believe it is. Let me just, yeah. Well, I had a section here. Exactly, it's class Delta. And do we have any? Is it 24/7 or not? No, tower is active from 13 Zulu to 03 Zulu, which we are in that window. The destination is Port of South Louisiana Executive Regional, and this is an untowered airport. Again, it's attended during daytime mainly, and it has one runway, basically heading south to north, and north to south. So route planning. If I look at the overall route, it's pretty rich on landmarks, so it should be pretty easy to navigate. When we depart, I believe we will use runway 18 because of the wind. It's a lot of crosswind, but still some headwind component is from the south. Then this first visual, well, it's like VFR reporting point, and I try to overlay that on the map, and I believe there is a very small lake there. In any case, in order to avoid these restricted areas, you can just fly south of Interstate 10, and that will make you fly away from those restricted areas. So I plan to climb out, obviously, turn right, and have this road to my right all the way to Slidell. At which point I would see this, hopefully, if there is some visibility, I would see this bridge and turn southwest and follow the coast. I'll speak more about how to fly here a little bit later. But yeah, full of visual landmarks. So the road, the bridge, then basically the coastline. From this airport to this airport, it's a straight line. There's a marina. We will see that. And then we again fly here and there along the roads. So do we have, no, this is departure. So let's, do we have, yeah, we have route here. So I will cover that. So standard VFR departure. We have two options. Again, this is like for if we don't have any ATC, so we will treat that as an untowered airport. So standard VFR departure at untowered airport, straight out or 45 degrees on the crosswind in the direction of the pattern, which here the pattern is left pattern, so we will use straight out. That means climbing on the runway heading to 1,500 to 2,000 feet, depending if we have like faster aircraft in the pattern or approaching the field. If there is a risk that we will have some turbine aircraft or faster birds in the pattern, and their pattern is 1,500 feet above the ground, then it's safer to climb all the way to 2,000 before turning on course. But 1,500 or 2,000 is fine. Do not turn sooner. How can we? Well, this is kind of a stupid remark, or might not be. Even VFR flights might need to speak to clearance delivery if it's in the 80s or in the airport instructions. But you can tell if the airport has even clearance delivery, for example, on the aerodrome chart. There would be those frequencies, and if it's not there, if there is only ground and tower, then you speak to ground. We have standard calls here, so left side in case that we have a controller, right side in case we just self-announce. Now is the interesting portion, the transition here. If you imagine, and now you need to think a little bit in 3D, not 2D. All those airspaces are like 3D spaces. So what we see on the map is the lateral boundary, and those numbers here, they show us the vertical boundaries. So for example, this portion here says that the class that Bravo is from 600 to 7,000 feet. When you look at this tunnel or sleeve or however you want to call it, it says that the class Bravo is from surface to 1,000 and then from 2,000 to 7,000. So between 1,000 and 2,000, there is no class Bravo here. It still says on the map, I'll just bring up the map here. It still says on the map, aircraft transiting the Flyway overflying Louis Armstrong New Orleans International between 1,000 and 2,000 MSL, which would be us, shall obtain approval from New Orleans Tower or New Orleans Approach Control. All right, so even though it's outside of the class Bravo, you still need to speak to ATC and obtain the approval, not the clearance into Bravo, but approval. Also notice how narrow is this corridor. So if I really zoom in, if I take like a straight line from here, from Lakefront to Louis Armstrong, I'm basically in that corridor. You see that. And here, just before entering that corridor, there is a marina. So that should tell us, that we are entering that already. When we reach New Orleans, then visually we should align ourselves with the road and road that goes between those lakes again to stay on the right side of that road, the north side of that road, so we can safely, depart this corridor. On VATSIM, nobody would probably nobody would call tell us to call the number if we violate or deviate a little bit, but we may try to stay very precise here. Not always will it you will be allowed to fly at 1,000, for example, 500 feet over the major airport, in class Bravo. So let's actually make use of it and enjoy that. Again, if we can see, because it says, well, the METAR improved a little bit. That's good. And the visibility is now 8 statute miles, not 3. That's good. So it looks like that we will be able to fly and see. All right. So yeah, this is one chart. If you want to see like a simplified chart, there is also a fly one. So if I click that, you can see that now regarding the airspaces, it's much more clearer. And you can plan a little bit. You can see those airspaces better. You don't see the landmarks, not necessarily see the landmarks, but the airspaces can be seen better. All right. So I'll go back to my presentation, and I try to overlay the tech chart and the Google Map chart, right? So you might be able to see, what's happening. So here is the lakefront. There is a Louis Armstrong, and there is a marina here. And this marina, at least that one, should be quite noticeable. So when we reach lakefront, we go here, and then follow the I-10. We have two options how to do that. If I go back to the big map, and I'll stay here because I can see the airspaces better. Now look, we have class Bravo. So in this area that we will be flying, it's from 2,000 feet to 7,000. So if we stay under 2,000, then we are good, right? Here there's like outer shell, and that starts at 4,000. So here we can easily fly at 3,000 feet. And then we have a lakefront here, lakefront tower. So when we fly at 3,000 feet, which airspace we would actually penetrate here? Delta or Bravo? Who knows?
Is it Bravo?
That's Bravo, exactly, because the Delta ends at 2,500. If we fly at, let's say, 1,800 feet, what would be enter and where? Nobody?
Oh, it's enter the delta.
Yes.
Not the Bravo.
Yes. So if we are here over lakefront at 1,800, are we in Delta or in Bravo?
In delta.
At 1,800? No.
Are we still in Bravo? Or
A
is it Alpha?
1,800 is below 2,000, so definitely not Bravo here. But we would be in the Delta.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes?
Okay.
Yeah.
Trick.
A little tricky. But more tricky is, at what airspace are we if we are at 2,300? Because now they overlap. So at
Would it be
2,000, yeah,
Bravo?
yeah, continue.
Bravo?
Not exactly. We would be in Bravo at 2,300 if this class Delta was not active. Normally,
Delta overrides it.
but I know where you are coming from, because normally class Bravo supersedes class Delta, because that's a higher airspace. However, there is a note that class B excludes 2,500 and below when class Delta is active. If this note was not here, then at 2,300 it would still be Bravo here, even if the Delta was active. Okay? Okay. I'll let that sink in. So when is this active? For that, we can bring up the airport chart supplement, and we see here that the tower is airspace. Airspace class Delta, service from 13 to 03 Zulu, other times class Echo. So we are now, it's almost 19 Zulu, so class Delta is active. If it would not be active, then at 2,300 we would be in the Bravo, at 1,800 we would be in Echo, and so on. So we have two options. We either come in at 3,000, avoid the Delta, but if we avoid the Delta, it means that we will enter the Bravo, or we will come below 2,000, but in that case we will penetrate Delta. So either of these. And on the next page in the slide, I have both examples listed. And I believe that even though it will take some time, it actually pays to actually read that out and hear that, how that would happen. I must tell you, I am not entirely sure that I am 100% correct how the ATC would reply. I am not a controller. I tried to do that as to my best knowledge. So scenario A is when we are coming at 3,000 feet here, and we will avoid the delta. So we don't need to speak to lakefront tower. Okay. So first we would do something like New Orleans approach, November or Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo VFR request. They would tell us go ahead, and we would say something like that. New Orleans approach, Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo Slant Alpha, that's our equipment, with information November, because we have checked the 80s before. By Triple Bridges at 3000. Triple Bridges is this VFR reporting point. It's a little bit northeast of here. By Triple Bridges at 3000 feet, request to enter the Class Bravo airspace via Lakefront, then VFR Flyway over Louis Armstrong to land at Port of South Louisiana. So you tell them your whole plan, what you want to do. You want to enter the airspace via Lakefront. That's this airport here. Remember, this portion of Class Bravo was from 2000, so at 3000 feet you would be there. And then VFR Flyway over Louis Armstrong. That's this thing here, the tunnel. They would acknowledge you, Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo, New Orleans approach, squawk 3202, 3502, for example. At this point, are you permitted to enter the class Bravo? Because they called you by your call sign, so you have a two-way communication.
Nope.
Nope, exactly. You can do that if you are entering class Charlie. If this would be for class Charlie and they reply you with that, from this point you are allowed to enter that class Charlie because you have established two-way communication. Not class Bravo though. Then you need specific clearance, like exact clearance. So we just repeat squawk 3502 Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo. And here, the controller again says Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo, radar contact 10 miles northeast of Lakefront, cleared into the New Orleans class Bravo, magical phrase, cleared into, airspace via Lakefront and VFR Flyway over Louis Armstrong. When passing Lakefront, start descent to 1,800. Okay, because you are at 3,000, so they want you below 2,000. When entering the Flyway, maintain VFR at 1,800. So you repeat, cleared into the New Orleans class Bravo airspace via Lakefront and the Flyway. Start descent from 3,000 to 1,800 over Lakefront, Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo. And why could I say Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo and not Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo as before?
Because you already shortened your name.
Exactly. You can use the shortened version only and only if the ATC shortened that for you first, because they know, the ATC knows what aircraft they have and they control. So if there is no risk of mixing two call signs, they will shorten it for you. If there is a slight risk that two call signs are very similar, they will never shorten that. Okay, so you repeat that, it's in black, and that at some point you would receive something like Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo, contact New Orleans Tower at frequency, and just repeat that and contact the New Orleans Tower, because when you are coming here, I imagine that you should be under the tower control. You know, they are handling the aircraft landing and departing, so they should know about you. And notice how nice this route is. You know, it doesn't collide with any runways, departures, and arrivals if you do it properly. Okay, so that's the scenario A. If you want to overfly this, and then that would also be my plan, because you are at 3,000. You don't want to clip that airspace at 2,500. So if you just start descent here, maybe you will be at 2,500 here, and then you continue the descent to 1,800. So you can enter this. You know, you have like this portion to descend those 700 feet, and this portion to descend like 500 feet, something like that. But again, if you eyeball it and just clip it very marginally, nobody will, you know, rip your head off. Well, scenario B is when we are already, we don't want like a specific clearance into the Bravo. So we might have like a easier communication, but we would be probably, there would be some twist. So scenario B is, you would contact directly Lakefront Tower. And since you are talking to Tower, I don't believe that it's not necessary, you know, to ask for VFR request, because they usually have, well, if the frequency is busy, then yes, you would do that. But otherwise, you can call right ahead. Lakefront Tower, Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo Slide Alpha. Again, the same information. With information Mike 10 miles southeast at 3,000 feet. Request Class D transition from east to west at 1,800 feet, overflying the airport. So the structure is always the same, like the called station, calling station, your equipment, that's optional, what information you have, where you are laterally, where you are vertically, and what do you want. Okay. So they can reply something like Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo, Lakefront Tower, maintain VFR at 1,800, proceed as requested. They have established two-way communication, so you are perfectly fine. They didn't tell you that you need to do something else, told you proceed as requested. If you didn't tell them your plan, then they would ask you what what are your intentions and so on. So this is like an advantage of passing that message right away. And you can just, because they have not issued you any, maybe you should repeat like maintain VFR, at 1800. Okay. But if they tell you just proceed as requested, you would just acknowledge with Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo that you remember, that you listened and read that. So, however, imagine you're flying here at 1,800 feet and you want to go here. If you're flying, let's say, 120 knots, or something like that, then this portion, this 10 miles, you would cover it like in what, 5 minutes maybe 7 minutes. I'm in a faster bird, so it's shorter. So I cannot wait, until I am outside of class Delta to actually start talking with the tower and get the approval of crossing, that. If I'm in the first scenario, I was in contact with the approach, so they would probably negotiate that for me already. Or it might happen that if you tell the plan that you are planning to fly the Flyway already to the lakefront controller, probably they might get into contact with New Orleans Tower before and already pass them on, pass you to them. But in case they don't, then when I'm over the field, I would request that I want to contact them, and it would be something like Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo request frequency change to New Orleans Tower to negotiate the transition. Again, you say what you want and why. And I believe that when you are already over the field and exiting their airspace, they would have no problem with telling like Skyhawk 3 Alpha Bravo frequency change approved. Then you repeat that frequency change approved and you contact New Orleans Tower, Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo. Again, notice full call sign. This is the first time you're contacting New Orleans Tower, so full call sign every time. Slant Alpha with information November. Over lakefront at 1,800, request Louis Armstrong Flyway transition from east to west, landing at Port of South Louisiana. Again, who you're calling, who you are, that you have information, where you are, what you want, and your plans. Again, since you are now in the class Bravo or close to class Bravo, they will issue you a squawk. Then you repeat that. And they will tell you again, Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo, radar contact 10 miles east of Louis Armstrong International. Proceed via the Flyway, overflying the Louis Armstrong International. Maintain VFR between 1,000 and 2,000. Report leaving the Flyway. And we'll just repeat that, proceeding via the Flyway between will report when leaving it. Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo. And then when you are there, you would say something, Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo, leaving the Flyway to the west. And they would reply maybe something like Skyhawk 123 Alpha Bravo, Roger, maintain VFR below 2000, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Why they would tell you maintain VFR below 2000, it's pretty obvious, because when you exit the Flyway, you are still under the Bravo. That starts at 2000 feet. So it sounds complicated. In real life, I can imagine it would be complicated. On VATSIM, probably also if we had a controller. We probably won't have any control though, so half the fun is gone by that. But we will still try to maintain this route if we can. All right. Any questions to the radio communication? Was there anything that was unclear in there?
You said there was a difference between an approval and a clearance, if I understood correctly.
Yeah, the approval can be expressed much more leisurely than well, and at least in this case, the clearance is that you are allowed to do that, you are cleared for it, and everything. Approval usually means that it is like your plans are approved, kind of. So difference in here, when it says that you need an approval. It's just the difference of that you don't need to be cleared into the Bravo. You are approved for your plan to miss the Bravo.
Huh.
Yeah, it might not be much, because yeah, you need some approval either way. It's just the terminology.
Okay.
As far as I understand it. Yeah, it sounds difficult. I can understand that. But if you remember the very basic structure, who you are calling, who you are, where you are, what do you want, what are your plans? That's like 5 items that should be in every call. And if you remember this structure, then it becomes easy with time. All right, moving on. Arrival, after we have passed the flyway, the arrival is a piece of cake. This is an untowered airport. We will be self-announcing ourselves. If the winds are holding, let's see what it says now. 250 at 12, gusting 19. So again, looks like a nice crosswind. 250, that's about, is this to 70, so 250 will have variation is almost nothing. So yeah, so it's almost direct crosswind, but still favoring runway 17. And it also like plays into our cards. So the standard VFR arrival into an untowered field is to join the downwind at midfield under 45-degree angle and be already at traffic pattern altitude before joining that. The reason is again simple. You're flying there and you need to give way to any aircraft that's already in the pattern. So you can look left. If there is anybody and flying there, you need to give way, and it's very easy from this position. You just do orbit, just brake right, do an orbit and try again. If we are landing at 3.5 at this particular airport, the traffic pattern for 3.5 is right. So we would come like from northeast here and join right downwind at midfield at 45. The calls are standard. Any questions?
There's one thing I noticed when looking at the airspaces. The different like Delta, Echo, all that stuff, is that how the range at which they control, like altitude-wise?
Not really. All those airspaces have some, I would say, standard altitudes. So, for example, Class Delta will almost always be 2,500 feet above the ground. This is the MSL though, altitude, but it's a C here, so it's the same. Class Bravo might be to 7,000. Class Charlie is usually something like 4,500 or 4,300. But it's not a rule, It's just the classification is more about the rules within those airspaces. So Class Bravos are there because there is a lot of traffic. So they need to impose stricter rules, to fly in there. Class Charlie are usually airports that have a little bit less traffic than Class Bravo, and again, Class Deltas are all the other towered fields.
So if we were to fly above the, let's say it was Class Delta, right? Or Delta's 25. No, you said which one was 2,500?
Delta here is 2,500. This is MSL, so mean sea level.
So if you were to fly above it, would you be avoiding that airspace?
Yes, of course.
So you wouldn't have the contact tower at all?
Yes, but again, if I'm flying above Class Delta, then I'm in the Class Bravo, so even stricter conditions.
Bravo's up to 7,000.
And from 2,000 up to 7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are flying at 8,000, then you miss all those airspaces, and you are in Class Echo, and you are free not to speak to anybody. The only difference is that in Class Bravo, there is a 30-mile ring at the this magenta circle, and it says that mode C transponder and ADS-B out is mandatory here within 30 nautical miles. So normally it would be legal to fly with no radio, no transponder, you know, in the US, but not here, even if you're at 20,000 feet. Just no. We don't need to take care of that on VATSIM because all our transponders are like client simulates mode Charlie and ADS-B out, so we are free to fly there.
It says that around the south side, it's restricted airspace.
South side where?
You see that huge red line? Does that say restricted airspace?
This circle? No, you mean this one, this shaded one.
I don't know how to explain it. It says Alpha 381 is restricted airspace. Has a huge like
Alpha
red line in the
381.
middle.
This one.
Mhm.
This is
Is
alert
that what it is?
area. This
I
alert
see.
area. It's just that, you know, and description: high volume of helicopter seaplane traffic, and it's not this one. Alert area will be depicted. Let's see. Is it even here? Yeah, alert area is this. How to say it? This magenta ladder. Can you see that?
Yeah.
This magenta ladder, you know, and something like this, you know. So this alert area is actually very huge. If I zoom out, you know, it's this rectangle here. You know, so it applies to this whole portion, whole rectangle.
Holy, that is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that is huge. So for example, if I go to here, you can easily see those restricted areas, right? Those are the blue ladder. And exactly the same markings have like alert areas and military operations areas and danger areas. All are the same, but magenta, like here.
So is it saying we aren't supposed to be within ground to 2000 in that area? This is lower limit is ground, upper limit is 200 MSL or 2000 MSL.
No, alert area do not pose any kind of restrictions on you. It's just that you should be aware that there is like you should be more alert than the normal.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Again, high volume of helicopter seaplane traffic. If I look here, and I can actually look up the this area here, A361, and it's actually 2000. Yes. So yeah. So it is valid. This area is valid like only from ground to 2000 feet. But again, you are not restricted in any way to fly there. You just need to pay more attention. And again, alert areas don't extend into class A, B, C, and D airspace, or class Echo airport surface areas. So for all intents and purposes on VATSIM, you can just ignore it. Okay, any other questions? Oh, I left extra slide here. Sorry. Remove it. So if no questions, then obviously I will encourage, as always, everyone to fly. If for some reason you don't want to or you don't feel like it, I will be streaming this flight on Twitch. So feel free to tune that stream instead. And I wish you happy flying.
Happy
Happy
flying.
flying.
Happy flying.
So let's just start this so I can start listening to radio chatter if there is any. It's been 20 days since I've flown this bird, so we'll see how rusty I am. That's good. This is good. Reset that one. Okay. So I believe can go ahead. Turn on the fuel flow. Reset the trims. Good. And we go beacon light, navigation, alternators,
Clear prop.
magnetos, mixture, throttle, and let's crank it. Engine 1. Yeah, all temperature immediately in the green. That's not very realistic. So let's do engine 2. And reduce the power a little bit. Okay, and I will turn on the fuel pumps on the low setting. Very good. And now just lean a little bit. Good. I have my navlog prepared here. So just repeat what I'm gonna do. After departing, I will climb straight ahead. On the right side, I should see the lake that I should turn into. And when overflying that, I will begin my first leg. I will keep Interstate 10 on my right, all the way to Slidell. And then I will just like fly right of this bridge, triple bridges, and continue and then try to weave my way around here. I'm planning to fly at 3,000 feet today. Let's verify what's the altimeter setting. It should be it should be standard actually. Standard. The field elevation is 23 feet. So if I go here and select, okay, this is not good. There we go. 23 feet. Yes, I'm 29902. Also here. Very nice indeed. Temperature very high, so let's turn on some fan. And just no temp control, but cabin air all the way, forward cabin air all the way. Good. All right, so let's review our taxi. Bring up the airport diagram chart. Located here by the hangar or terminal. Taxi to Bravo and depart runway 18. Stennis International Traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo is twin Cessna by the terminal, taxiing to runway 18 intersection Bravo. Stennis. Could I be heard on the radio, guys?
Loud
Yes.
and clear.
Thank you.
Stennis traffic, November 36 Echo, also Lieutenant Piper Warrior on the ramp, taxi to runway 18, holding point Bravo, Stennis.
So have you changed to a Piper Warrior then? From the Cessna 152?
Now you confused me with Klaus again.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. This is so humiliating to me.
Yeah, it is. But it's alright.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
fine.
I like you guys both equally, so I just confuse you.
Well, the good news is New Orleans approach came online.
Oh, really? Okay. Haha. That's gonna be fun. So in that case, I'm gonna file my flight plan. Usually don't when flying VFR. Okay. So, quick check of the engine. Everything else in the green. Very good. Let's go.
November 6529 Lima, radio check. Loud and clear. Thank you.
Stennis International Traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, taking off runway 18 from intersection Bravo, straight out departure, then right hand turnout. Stennis. Okay, landing lights go on, strobe lights go on. Flaps are up. Let's take this bird to the air.
Stennis International Traffic, November 91 Charlie, Cessna 152 in front of the terminal, taking to runway 18 at the Bravo intersection. Stennis.
And gear goes up. Right. Reduce that power. If there's that lake.
Stennis traffic, Royal 36 Echo at Bravo, departing runway 18, straight out departure. Stennis.
Yeah, that would be the lake. I would be turning one there. And from there, I will be maintaining heading of 265 or something like that. So I already set it up. This thing doesn't want to climb, but that's probably because it's so damn hot. Okay, let's turn. Just reset it now.
Stennis traffic, November 6529 Lima, departing runway 18, straight out departure. Stennis.
Actually, I'll reset the timer when crossing the lake. Stennis traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo after departure at 2000 feet, turning west. Final call, Stennis. All right. So this probably here hidden in the trees should be Interstate I-10 or Interstate 10. And we should keep on the right of it. And I don't want to go too fast today. Yeah, we have some strange currents here. Probably because of the turbulent air around us. Okay, so landing lights go off. Fuel pumps go off.
You okay there, Eugene?
Yeah. I was trying to take off with my prop almost feathered.
Oh.
Stennis traffic, Warrior 36 Echo, upwind runway 18, 1600, climbing 2500, departing west, final call. Stennis.
So 3,000 feet, there we go.
Stennis traffic, November 91 Power Charlie, taking off runway 18 for a straight out departure and then right turn out, Stennis.
So we should arrive at Slidell at some point. Yeah, the road would converge. Let's just keep slightly more to the left, to be honest. Okay, and I can reduce some power. Lean a bit. Guess that's a contact me message.
Oh, I already got a contact me from the controller.
Yeah. Well, I will
Not
contact
sure
him
why
when
though. I'm nowhere near.
No,
Fast Bravo.
I will contact him when I need to.
Ah, nice.
Already prepare the frequency, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm nowhere near. I'll just ignore that. We'll contact him when I'm ready. When I need to. Because I want to simulate, you know. Okay, I'm not talking. Yeah, I gotta contact me as well, but I'm not gonna do that until, you know, I'm closer. Because I want to simulate, you know, the flight without and actually getting under positive control when needed. Okay, so originally I should have flown this portion like, let's say, 5-6 minutes, but I was climbing a little bit longer, so let's say 6.5 minutes.
Stennis International Traffic, November 91 Power Charlie, at the runway heading, passing 2,000 feet, turning west, final call, Stennis.
Okay, so this is Seattle. I believe there should be the bridge there. I should come a little bit to the right of it. And when I'm there, I will contact them, you know, when I'm by the triple bridges, so on the shore. Okay, 6:30. Just make a note there. And now we're going 233. That's about right. I'll tune in the frequency.
Alright, 6529 Lima, New Orleans approach, radar contact 35 miles northeast of New Orleans Airport. Proceed course.
Proceed on course, November 6529 Lima.
Alright, 36 Echo, traffic is 1 o'clock. Traffic is 1 o'clock, 4 miles is a DE36 at 3000, report site.
Looking for the traffic, November 36 Echo.
So 2 minutes on the shore. Say 2 minutes, 0.2. And it's time to contact them. New Orleans approach. This is Cessna 310, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, slant Alpha. By triple bridges at 3,100 feet. Request to enter the class Bravo airspace via lakefront. Then VFR flyway over Louis Armstrong to land at port of South Louisiana.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo squawk 2771 and ident, please.
2771 and ident, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo New Orleans approach radar contact. You're cleared through the New Orleans class Bravo airspace via the flyway. Maintain VFR altitude data above 3000, squawk normal.
Okay, I'm cleared to the class Bravo via the flyway, and please confirm I should be above 3000 for the flyway. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
Affirm, at or above 3000.
Alright, I'll then stay up above the flyway at 3000 feet. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
No, 6529 Lima, you want the flyway as well?
Affirmative for November 6529 Lima.
Alright, 6529 Lima, you're clear through the New Orleans class Bravo airspace at or above 3000 via the New Orleans flyway, squawk normal.
Roger, cleared through the airspace via the flyway. Squawk normal for November 6529 Lima.
New Orleans approach, Cessna 152, November 91, Bravo Charlie. 7 miles southwest of Stennis International. Also requesting to enter the Bravo airspace via lakefront and then VFR through the flyway.
Number 91 Bravo Charlie, squawk 2751 and ident, please.
2751 and ident, 91 Bravo Charlie.
91 Bravo Charlie, New Orleans approach radar contact 35 miles northeast of the New Orleans Class Bravo airspace. You're clear through the New Orleans Class Bravo airspace via the New Orleans Flyway. Maintain VFR altitudes at or above 3,000. Squawk normal.
Cleared into the Bravo via the Flyway at 3,000 or above and squawk normal. 91 Bravo Charlie.
And over 91 Bravo Charlie, your readback is correct. Call me for taxi. Or correction, disregard. Proceed on course.
91 Bravo Charlie.
Almost thought you were on the ground for a second.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, request descent to 2000 for clouds.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, descend and maintain 2000.
Descend and maintain 2000, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. Alright, so this is lakefront. From there, probably see the marina there.
November 6529
And
Lima,
you're
request descent 2000 for clouds.
6529 Lima, descend and maintain 2000.
2029 Lima.
This is 264. We'll see how the winds will play this out.
So the controller cleared me to 3000 or above in the Bravo. Do I need to request descent if I want to descend from 4500 to 3000? I guess not.
Now you are VFR, so you know, unless you are already at Class Bravo, you know, you can do whatever you want with your altitude.
Yeah, but if I'm in the Class Bravo, he cleared me through the Class Bravo at or above 3000.
At or above? Well, then in that case, you know, it's up to you.
Okay.
You can be at or above, but you know, if you are at 4500, I can guarantee you're flying, you know, in the clouds. So.
Yep, just making sure. Just
wouldn't do that.
I can see them ahead of me, so guess I'll just descend to 3000, I guess. Yeah.
And I requested, you know, descent to 2000 for clouds. As well as Eugene. You cannot, you know, technically fly the Flyway at 3000 feet because it's not there.
Yeah.
Well, you can, you know, fly the lateral portion of it, but we are in the 3D airspace.
That's what I assume he meant for the lateral course, but not the altitude.
No, he was quite clear on the altitude, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the clearance was for the lateral course of the Flyway at 3000 or above.
Yeah, you are right. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, can I have the altimeter setting for New Orleans, please?
Sorry, my apologies. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, the New Orleans altimeter 29990.
29990, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, thank you.
6529 Lima, the New Orleans altimeter 29990.
90 for 29 Lima.
Okay, so this is Marina.
36 Echo, the lakefront altimeter 29992.
5.
Altimeter 29992, November 36 Echo.
91 Bravo Charlie, the lakefront altimeter 29992.
2992, November 91 Bravo Charlie.
57. Okay. Was not watching for my altitude, and it it's risen quite considerably. So let's. Okay, so it must be some very high updraft. I'm pushing my yoke down. I'm flying level with no power, and I'm doing 175 knots and not slowing down. That's funny. Now. Okay, so it's New Orleans International. I have the opposite problem. Doesn't want to climb. Mighty Mississippi River to our left. All right. 245. Is that the river? So it does simulate some floodings there. That's...
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, the port altimeter 2988.
Altimeter 2988. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. Okay, so I should be staying at the right side. Of this road. Yeah, it's kind of flooded. So I would leave the flyway. Okay, when at about there. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, leaving the flyway to the west, request frequency change.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, leaving the New Orleans class Bravo airspace to the west. Remain west of the New Orleans class Bravo airspace. Squawk and TAC VFR approved. Can see it.
Squawk and maintain VFR. Thank you very much for ATC services. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
No worries.
Right, so now it's just we're turning here and just 10 miles.
Afternoon, this is November 5 Mike Romeo at New Orleans Airport. Flight plan IFR to Houston Hobby.
Okay, so 3 minutes 22 seconds. That was about 3.4, let's say. Port of South Louisiana traffic. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. So twin Cessna. Currently 10 miles to the east at 1,800 feet. We'll be joining left downwind runway 17, Port of South Louisiana. I'll just go here.
Departure with you and squawk 2757.
5 Mike Romeo, New Orleans approach. Read back is correct. Calling for taxi. Expect runway 18 left.
Thank you. Call for taxi and expect runway 18 left. November 5 Mike Romeo.
Actually, I'm running
New Orleans approach with a Delta 2526.
Delta 2526, New Orleans approach.
Actually, I need to go to that road there.
Squawk 2760 for me, please.
2760, Delta 2526.
I see some columns. That would be... what could that be? This is Laplace, I believe. Those columns might be that Garyville. So the airport will actually be in front of it. Okay, so... let's tune that to 17 so I have a situational awareness.
2526 North approach, radar contact 40 miles north of New Orleans Airport. Expect RNA GPS runway 20 approach.
Expecting RNF 020, Delta 2526.
Yeah, the airport should be there already. So let's position myself over the river.
New Orleans approach, November 36 Echo, request descent 2500, clouds.
36 Echo descent, maintain 2500 for weather.
Descent maintain 2500, November 36 Echo.
Delta 2526, clear direct ramp, cross ramp at or above 4000, at rail cleared RNF GPS runway 20 approach.
Okay, I need to slow down.
Delta 2526, New Orleans approach.
Go ahead, Delta 2526.
Yep,
Let's
descent maintain
go.
4000.
Descent to maintain 4000, Delta 2526.
Let's turn on the landing lights.
36529 Lima, Lima airspace to the west. Squawk and TAC VFR, frequency change approved.
Squawk and talk VFR.
I believe I see the runway, so let's join the downwind and be at 1000 feet before that. Extra full. Propellers actually 2500 is enough. Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. Joining left downwind runway 17 at 45 degrees at midfield, Port Louisiana. Okay, that's enough. I haven't checked for weather. It's late to do that, but better late than never. So we have 299.6 and wind is 2101. Okay. So altimeter 299.6. There we go, so we are high. Okay, flaps, gear. I'm higher than I should be. Because I haven't checked the weather properly. Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo turning left base runway 17, Port of South Louisiana. That's a mouthful. Actually, the wind is from the north.
Port of South Louisiana traffic, November 6529 Lima is Type Bonanza, 7 miles to the east of the airport, inbound for landing, 17, Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. I'm braking off the approach to 17 due to the winds. We'll be joining right downwind of 35, Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana, November 6529 Lima will be joining a right downwind for runway 35 as well, Port of South Louisiana.
Okay, so I did this because there was nobody in the traffic pattern. Again, flaps, gear. We have 3 green. Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo turning right base runway 35, Port of South Louisiana. Some power lines. Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo turning final runway 35, Port of South Louisiana. Full stop landing. Okay, this is not good. I'm gonna go around again. So flaps up. Port of South Louisiana, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, going around. We'll be joining right-hand traffic off runway 35, Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana traffic, November 6529, join left or right downwind for runway 35, Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning right, crosswind runway 35, Port of South Louisiana. Port of South Louisiana traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning right, downwind runway 35, Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana traffic, November 6529, Lima, right base 35, Port of South Louisiana. Port of South Louisiana traffic, November 6529 Lima, turning final 35, Port of South Louisiana.
Port of South Louisiana, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning right base runway 35, Port of South Louisiana. Okay, so let's go flaps, landing gear. Port of South Louisiana, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning final runway 35, full stop landing, Port of South Louisiana. Okay, let's go full flaps.
Port of South Louisiana traffic, November 6529 Lima has vacated runway 35, Port of South Louisiana.
Scary looking cables. We are over.
Port South traffic, November 36 Echo, supply part Bavaria, about 10 miles east, 1,300 descending 1,000 for a right downwind runway 35, Port South.
Port of South traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, runway 35 vacated, taxiing to parking, Port of South. Okay, so fuel pumps can go off, landing lights and strobe lights go off. I go to parking 7. Okay, parking brake set. All right. Avionics off. Why does it do that? These are off. There's something strange going on there. Okay, so battery and alternators, magnetos off, fuel switches to
Did you
off.
say left downwind for 3-5?
I meant to say right downwind, did I say left?
I thought we were doing 17, runway 17.
Yeah, the wind is unpredictable.
Oh,
Meter says
0.
3.5, but it might have changed.
Yeah, right now
So-
it says the wind is 0, but it was blowing from the north a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Little bit.
so we're doing 3-5.
Can do whatever you want.
Well, I'm doing 3.5.
Yeah,
Let's see how
3.5
it
works
actually is
well.
in the simulator. I don't know.
I was doing 17, then I remembered to check the weather while already on the downwind. Then when turning final, I realized, well, the wind is blowing from the north. So I broke off the approach, joined the right downwind of 3.5. Then went very wide, needed to go around and on the 3.5, and the second or third approach actually was the charm. Third time the charm. And that was it.
Yeah, it wasn't really the easiest airport to spot for me. In the air.
You mean to find?
Yeah, in the air.
Yeah, it was difficult to see, but there is a nice Mississippi River, so I knew where it should be.
That's true, yeah.
So I was like, and I also saw some smokestacks, you know, from the what's there.
Okay.
Garyville something. So that helped me, that it should be on the same level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be seen like already from the downwind, not very much sooner.
Okay, it was a questionable entry.
Yeah, it was. But not more questionable than my own entry, so you're fine.
And doing terminal in general today.
Alright guys, so after a very long pause, we were able to fly today. It was not the perfect flight, but I was able to
Just
maintain
all
that.
over the place. Haven't flown.
I was able to maintain that flyway quite good. It was very nice that we had an ATC controller, which was New Orleans approach. And yeah, it's always more fun like that. So I hope, well, actually, next week I won't be here. I have a vacation. So I strongly hope that the week after the next we'll be able to fly again. So take care. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.